So this is a quote. Yesterday I was at the Van Gogh immersive event, which is traveling the world right now, and I really love this quote from Vincent van Gogh, who has inspired me in so many ways ever since I was a teenager. And he said the beginning is perhaps more difficult than anything else, but keep heart, it will turn out all right. I agree. I so agree. Welcome. So, there's so many people who run around very busy, acknowledging that they are, realizing that they are, and they live for their vacations, their holiday time, only to collapse then and to never fully recover, because even then they've got so much to do that they haven't done the rest of the time. We have actually constructed a world. Some countries have actually taken heart and have changed this, but for the most part, in the so-called Western world, we've constructed societies so that we're constantly busy. What does that mean, being busy? It means that we are constantly running after something else, rushing to go to someplace else, rushing to do something. We even rush when we eat. All of this rush, hurry, the pressure of being perfect, the pressure of doing things and doing them in a certain way, the pressure of being here, being there, the pressure of just being busy allows us to forget that we exist. Yes, we exist, and we exist in more than one plane. We exist on several planes. For some of you, if I mention the astral plane, you'll think I'm nuts or you don't know what that means. I am only talking today on a very dense physical plane. That's all I'm talking about. And I'm looking at our lives from a point of view of what this creates within the cells of our bodies. Why? Because the cells of our bodies dictate the value that we place in our lives, where we place them, and the decisions that we make. Every single decision is determined by the state of health of our cells, which is why I'm focused on cellular rejuvenation with all of my clients now, and with myself, of course, because I cannot assist my clients until I've experienced it for myself. And I am so dedicated to healing on all levels. That is my number one focus and my number one pleasure right now. So all of us can come to healing on our own paths. Our journeys can take many different paths. It doesn't have to be any one path. In fact, the trick is to actually find your own path, the one that's totally unique to you, that's authentic to you, that's intrinsic to you, and that's intuitive to you. But when we're busy, running, doing, and forcing things in our bodies that are toxic, we never are able to actually connect with our instincts. And therefore our lives become monuments of acidity, and acidosis takes over on every level. In our thoughts, in our behavior patterns, in our mindset, in our emotional state, and definitely in our physical state as well. So that's the one thing that remains the same for all of us. We have different paths to healing, and every path is valuable because that's what works for you. Nobody can tell you what works for you. When I work with clients, I meet them where they are. I never push my own path of them, but there's one thing that is true for all of us, and that's the problem of acidosis. So what do I mean by that? Let me take it down to the most basic level, and that's the level of food. So here are the most acid non-foods. I do not call them food because they're non-foods, because they do not restore energy and healing and rejuvenation and restoration and regeneration of our cells. And therefore we all suffer from tremendous acidosis. Anyone whose diet includes any of these, even if just one of these, you are creating severe acidosis for yourself. Now, the body can take care of a lot of this as long as we maintain a healthy lifestyle. But most of us are wrapped up in very unhealthy lifestyles that under pressure. We perform under pressure. We're always performing. We never are. there is no time for being. We do not create spaciousness in our lives. We need more spaciousness in our lives. And I'll be going more into this as we continue this series. So we're creating a tremendous amount of acidosis in our lives on such a level that it's very difficult for us to even realize that our thoughts, our behavior patterns are all being ruled by this acidity that's in ourselves and in between ourselves. And it's creating a tremendous amount of inflammation. And the inflammation is creating a lot of illnesses, mental, emotional, psychological, and yes, physical. So, what to do? What do we do about this? Do we then start eating only alkaline foods? Well, that's one way to start. You can start with eating fruits. So these are sapotes. I love sapotes. They're only available in the winter. This is a cantaloupe. Even if you just start with these two, just two fruits, any two fruits, it doesn't matter, but preferably melons and grapes and berries and the sweet fruits. So if you want to just start with that alone is going to take you to a much higher place where your cells will at least get the nourishment and the hydration which they are so lacking in and so need if you are pursuing a diet like this. Now let's say you're plant-based, and so you have also already made some changes and you're seeing them or you're feeling them and you're becoming them, but you're still continuing with the oils, the ketchup and liquor, and by the way, this here it says hard liquor. Any liquor is a problem and will create acidosis eventually. And you don't know exactly where to go next. Well, eat what nature gives us, because we are nature, which is fruits and vegetables. But if you're not ready for that, at least start cutting out the most acidic of them all, which are the processed ones. Anything that's processed, just make a note to yourself and make love to yourself by saying, I deserve more. I deserve a life without acidosis. I'm going to bring my life into a place of balance. I'm going to bring my life into a place of homeostasis. That means you will need to make some strong changes, because you cannot change what you do not acknowledge. First, acknowledge that your life might be out of control or feels out of control, or if it doesn't feel out of control to you, that there's still changes that need to be made, that you want to shift and not be forced to shift it. You can be forced to shift it, and that also works. If that works for you, who am I to say no to that? But I suggest that you first start reading several books. One of them is by Robert O. Young, and I really suggest that you read his book, The pH Miracle. Why The pH Miracle? Because it's the beginning of self-care. I also suggest, when you have time to read, and these are the books I give to all my clients, so I know they work. Another book is by Arnold Ehret, A-H-R-E-T, and that is The Mucus-Less Diet, meaning mucus, the mucus that you're building up with all the acidosis. The Mucus-Less Diet, please read that if you do not believe anything I say, or you don't want to follow anything I'm doing and you think, oh, utter rubbish, I don't need to do any of this. Please read those books first, just to take a glance at them even, and then read also the book by Timothy Galway called The Inner Game of Tennis. So before people begin to work with me as clients, this is actually what they need to do. They need to read these books and some other books as well. So I do give my clients homework. So it's just like going back to school, except this is the school of life. So I invite you all to look at what Vincent van Gogh said. Consider it. Think about it as you're driving along, or you're on a bus or on the bicycle, or you're walking today. The beginning is perhaps more difficult than anything else, but keep heart. It will turn out all right. And that's why you see me there pointing to it, because this is something that I know is true and I believe that you can master. So, join me here every weekday, Mondays to Fridays at this time, same channel. Please press the subscribe button and the notification button so you'll know when this is coming along again. And in the meantime, please be mindful that you do matter. Make yourself matter in your own life, because you are that valuable, and your contributions to yourself means that you're also contributing to us, for the rest of us. So do not live in a place of fear. Do not live in a place of anxiety. Take charge of your life. Take back your powers and heal. Join me. Thank you.